Welcome to Block 1, Multiplicative Change, Lesson 2. In today's lesson, you're going to learn to explore conversion graphs. In your previous lesson, you learned how to use direct proportion relationships. Remember to like the video, share the video with those you think can benefit, and subscribe to the channel. And then click on the notification bell so that when new videos are released, you'll be notified. By doing so, you help us grow our mission to raise math literacy among children in the world. Before we start, pause video and answer these retrieval practice questions in 3 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered these retrieval practice questions, here are the answers. So I'm sure you haven't forgotten what you learned about how to work with intervals or how to find the intervals on a number line. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5. And then we have the difference between the start and the end of the line is 1 because 19 minus 8 is 1. So the next step is you divide that number by the number of intervals. So 1 divided by 5 is 0.2. So this line is going up by 0.2 every time. So that will be 18.2, 18.4, and then 18.6. Here again, we know the start is -5 and the end is 15. So they're asking you to work out the difference between A and B. The difference is 20. And then here, to work out the missing number, it is 100 because 1.63 times 100 shifts the place value of these numbers such that you now have this shift 2 places, that shifts 2 places, and that shifts 2 places. So the tenth becomes the 10, the 100th becomes the unit. And so you have 163. This technique of knowing how to work with number lines is going to be useful when you read graphs. So remember, our title is to know how to work with conversion graphs. So here is a conversion graph between inches and centimeters. First, look at the inches and look at the centimeters on the horizontal axis, which you will hear many people call x-axis, and centimeters on the y-axis, which you will hear many people on the vertical axis, which you will hear many people call the y-axis. Approximately how many centimeters are there in 7 inches? So first, remember, you need to be able to read the scale on the axis of a graph. So you go to 7, and so remember, we're talking about inches. So you look for 7, you draw a dashed line to meet the line graph. And then next, you extend that line horizontally to meet the vertical axis. Now, this is where it becomes useful to know how to read your scale. So you can see that this starts at 0 and that ends at 5. And then you can see that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little squares, meaning that each little square is equal to 1. Now you can see that the horizontal line has cut across the vertical line at the point after 15 where we have 3 squares after 15. I think 2. About 2.5. So it means 7 inches is approximately 17.5 centimeter. Now take note of this information because it will become useful in the future. So using our conversion graph, 7 inches is equal to 17.5 centimeter. The next question is approximately how many inches are there in 7 centimeters? So we look at the vertical axis and identify that we're now wanting to look for to work with centimeters. We mark 7 on the vertical axis. Next, we extend a horizontal line to meet the line of the graph and then produce the line vertically so that we can read the equivalent amount in inches. Now we can see, looking at our scale, that we have 0 to 1, but we have 5 little squares making up 1. So it means each of these little squares should be equal to 0.2, because remember how we worked with intervals? We take the difference and we divide by the number of intervals. So in this case, those intervals are represented by the little squares. So now we can say that each little square is 0.2. So which means that this should be 2.8, because we can see we are on the fourth square. Okay, the fourth little square. So 7 centimeters is approximately equal to 2.8 inches. Now, let's look at these two facts that we have just deduced from the conversion graph and use it to answer some questions. Approximately how many inches are there in 70 centimeters? Now, take note of what is mentioned here and the fact we need to pick out first. So we can see that 70 centimeters is mentioned. So centimeter is mentioned first. So we need to pick the fact that starts with centimeter. So we'll now write it and line 70 up with it. So now you can see that we have scaled, comparing 7 and 70, we have scaled it up by 10. So we need to scale 2.8 by 10, so which means that becomes 28. What if the question is how many centimeters are there in 700 inches? So remember, inches is what we're looking for. Inches is what is mentioned. So we need to pick the fact that we have deduced from the conversion graph that starts with inches, and that is this one. So 7 inches is equivalent to 17.5 centimeter. Now, 700 inches would have been scaled up by 100. So it means we need to multiply 17.5 by 100, which will give us 1,750 centimeter. It's now time for you to practice what you've learned. Pause the video and answer question 1 in 2 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and answered question 1, here are the answers. Let's discuss them. So for question 1, here you have been given this conversion graph between miles and kilometers. So you're asked to use the graph to make approximate conversions. So using the graph, 10 miles will trace up all the way, touch the graph, the line, and then you produce it to the horizontal. You would see that it's equivalent to 16 kilometers. And you can use that to answer this question, because to go from 10 to 40, you multiply by 4. So 16 times 4 will be 64. And that's how you use conversion graphs to answer questions. And then the last one, you were asked to use your last answer to make an approximate conversion of 800 kilometers. Now, 800 would be 10 more than this, 10 times more. So you just need to multiply 50 by 10. So that's 500 miles. Pause the video and answer question 2 in 1 minute. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered question 2, here are the answers. So for 2A, you can see you're using the conversion graph to convert between pints and liters. Now, looking at pints and liters, you can see 10 would be equivalent to 40 pints, would be equivalent to 23. So you can see reading from the graph. So you go from 40, it touches the graph, and you produce it to the horizontal, a horizontal line from the graph to meet the vertical axis, and that is 23. And you do the same to convert from liters to pints. And then notice that to convert liters, you simply have that one. So you have that one to convert into pint, from pints to liters. You can see that that is 40. So a quick way to do it could have been to divide by 8, which will give you 5, or you can simply just read it from your graph. So you read 35 pints and you read the graph to see that it should be equivalent to 20 liters. For B and C, pause the video and answer B and C in 2 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered B and C, here are the answers. So Jack and Dora want to convert 100 pints to liters, and here is what they found. So Jack's method and Dora's method. So 100 pints, he doubles 50 pints to get 100. Which of these methods, you're asked to choose one of these methods to convert 100 liters into pints. And regardless of the method you choose, the answer will be 175 pints. Pause the video and answer question 3 in 2 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered the questions, here are the answers. So here you were asked to use this information to draw a conversion graph. So 20 kilogram is approximately equal to 44 pounds. So by doing that, you can say, okay, 10 kilogram will be equal to 22 pounds. And then 40 kilogram will be equal to, you've doubled, will be equal to 88 pounds. So by doing that, you would have a straight line like this. And you can use that to start to answer questions like this. And these will be your answers. Pause the video and answer question 4 in 2 minutes. Assuming you've paused the video and you've answered question 4, here are the answers. So you were asked to use this graph. Okay, the table shows, so the graph shows a conversion between Celsius and Fahrenheit. You were asked, the table shows the temperature at midnight and midday in Oslo and New York. And you're asking which city does the temperature change the most between midnight. Okay, so you can see the number changes most in Oslo because from -5 to 41 degrees Fahrenheit is +10. Notice that you have to change them to the same units, so degrees Celsius in this case, for you to be able to compare the temperatures. And that's Oslo. All right, so this is about using conversion graphs. What is the key method? You trace the number that you want to convert, you get to the graph, and you trace either a horizontal line if you're trying to read from the vertical axis, or a vertical line down to the horizontal axis if you're trying to read from the horizontal axis. And that brings us to the end of our lesson. So in this lesson, you have learned to explore conversion graphs using the same techniques that you have learned earlier on with ratios, which is once you know the quantities, how the relationship between the quantities, you can scale the quantities up or down just the same as you did with direct proportion. Well done for sticking around and for taking your learning seriously. Until next time, take care of yourself and bye-bye.